Welcome to Swish and Flick, an all Potter podcast.
Swish and flick. Everyone? Swish and flick.
Hello and welcome to episode 17 of Swish and Flick. I'm Tiffany.
I'm Megan.
I'm Katie.
I'm no one.
And I'm Sarah. This episode is sponsored by Nicole Hajewski. Thank you so much for supporting us on Patreon.
You are awesome.
You are awesome.
So cool.
So today we will be discussing chapter 17 of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, the final chapter.
It's the final countdown.
The Man with Two Faces. So make sure that you have read the chapter and you're ready to dive in. But before we begin, Megan, she's got some weekly profit stuff. I can feel it.
I do.
What you got
feel it in
going
your
on?
fingers?
You gonna stop that video there, hey?
Yeah, we're gonna.
You
We're gonna
can't get
end
into
it.
the weekly profit.
Yeah, you're
Sorry.
gonna see it next time. Okay, so sorry, we were doing a live Instagram video. Shout out to our Instagram followers.
Woo!
So for the weekly profit this week, I wanted to talk about something that came out because of the opening of the British Library's Harry Potter History of Magic exhibition.
There it is.
There it was. So I thought this was super cool. I actually read this on the drive up to Sarah's house from our house to Katie. But they show inside the copy of the rejected first synopsis written by J.K. Rowling for Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone that was sent to quite a few places. It's pretty beat up looking. And it was turned down by more or less every major publishing house in the UK.
They're all kicking themselves
Sorry for you.
Yeah. Various reasons were given, including the story being too long, the fact that a story set in a children's boarding school might feel too exclusive to many readers,
Lies.
etc.
Actually just made us all want to go to boarding school.
Maybe that's what
so-
they
Yeah.
meant.
I wanted to go
True.
to boarding school so bad.
Oh, I didn't.
The submission, which included the synopsis above and the opening chapters of the first book, ultimately captured the interest of the Bloomsbury editorial team.
Because they smart.
They're very smart.
They smart.
The book was eventually published in the UK in 1997, as we know, by Bloomsbury, and then published in 1998 in the US under the title Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone.
Do you think she changed her timeline from because of like when she got published and everything, because she opened at the close? Because it ended when it got like do you know what I mean? Do you get what I'm saying? The Battle of Hogwarts ended when the first book came out.
Oh,
I don't know, maybe.
Thoughts?
That's a good thought.
could be.
Rowling has been open about what those rejections taught her. She said, I wasn't going to give up until every single publisher turned me down, but I often feared that would happen. She also has tweeted, I had nothing to lose, and sometimes that makes you brave enough to try.
Nice.
The hard copy is currently on display. And do you guys want me to read the synopsis?
No.
Sure.
Since this is the last chapter. Now, I will say the synopsis unfortunately cuts off because it's like multiple pages, and I think that they're stapled together and they've left them stapled together. So
Yeah.
You only
we
get
only
one
see the
page.
first page. But it's still a pretty good synopsis. And as Katie pointed out to me in the car when I read it, it's funny that this is just the synopsis of the book before anybody really got to see it. And it touches on so many iconic things in Harry Potter in just the first page of the synopsis.
Do it. Read it. I didn't read it, so I'm ready.
Well, I can't read, so
I'll read
to
it
me.
for you.
Thank you.
Harry Potter lives with his aunt, uncle, and cousin because his parents died in a car crash. Or so he has been told.
Dun, dun, dun.
The Dursleys don't like Harry asking questions. In fact, they don't seem to like anything about him, especially the very odd things that keep happening around him, which Harry himself can't explain. The Dursleys' greatest fear is that Harry will discover the truth about himself. So when letters start arriving for him near his 11th birthday, he isn't allowed to read them. However, the Dursleys aren't dealing with an ordinary postman, and at midnight on Harry's birthday, the gigantic Rubeus Hagrid breaks down the door to make sure Harry gets to read his post at last. Ignoring the horrified Dursleys, Hagrid informs Harry that he is a wizard, and the letter he gives Harry explains that he is expected at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry in a month's time. To the Dursleys' fury, Hagrid also reveals the truth about Harry's past. Harry did not receive the scar on his forehead in a car crash. It is really the mark of the great dark sorcerer Voldemort, who killed Harry's mother and father, but mysteriously couldn't kill him, even though he was a baby at the time. Harry is famous among the witches and wizards who live in secret all over the country because Harry's miraculous survival marked Voldemort's downfall. So Harry, who has never had friends or family worth the name, sets off for a new life in the wizarding world. He takes a trip to London with Hagrid to buy his Hogwarts equipment, robes, wand, cauldron, beginner's draft, and potion kit, and shortly afterwards sets off for Hogwarts from King's Cross Station, platform 9 3/4, to follow in his parents' footsteps. Harry makes friends with Ronald Weasley, sixth in his family to go to Hogwarts and tired of having to use secondhand spellbooks, and Hermione Granger, cleverest girl in the year and the only person in the class to know all the uses of dragon's blood. I find it funny that, like, this is in her synopsis, the dragon's blood. It's kind of weird. Together, they have their first lessons in magic, astronomy up on the tallest tower at 2 a.m, herbology out in the greenhouses where the mandrakes and wolfsbane are kept. This article that I found suddenly has the entire synopsis and not just the first page.
Right. Because that's where it cut off.
Yeah, that was right where it cut off. It's really not that much
Talk
longer.
about mandrakes for sorcerers now?
Yeah.
That's pretty boss.
Mandrakes and wolfsbane are kept. Potions down in the dungeons with the loathsome Severus Snape. Harry, Ron, and Hermione discover the school's secret passageways, learn how to deal with Peeves the poltergeist, and how to tackle an angry mountain troll. Best of all, Harry becomes a star player at Quidditch, wizard football played on broomsticks. What interests Harry and his friends most, though, is why the corridor on the 3rd floor is so heavily guarded. Following up a clue dropped by Hagrid, who, when he is not delivering letters, is Hogwarts' gamekeeper, they discover that the only Philosopher's Stone in existence is being kept at Hogwarts, a stone with powers to give limitless wealth and eternal life. Harry, Ron, and Hermione seem to be the only people who have realized that Snape the Potions Master is planning to steal the stone, and what terrible things it could do in the wrong hands. For the Philosopher's Stone is all that is needed to bring Voldemort back to full strength and power. It seems Harry has come to Hogwarts to meet his parents' killer face to face, with no idea how he survived last time. Who wouldn't want to publish this?
Apparently several people.
Yep. A lot of people who are mad they didn't.
I was into it.
But I think it's cool that they touch, like, just in this, I mean, we talk about, obviously, Hogwarts, which is massive for the entire series. King's Cross, platform 9 3/4.
We learn about subjects.
Yeah, we learn about subjects they take. And Katie said, like, how cool is it that this was written before anybody obviously had any clue what this was going to turn into, right? So, like,
Right.
we had no idea that there would ever legitimately be a platform 9 3/4 at King's Cross Station now if you go to King's Cross.
Right.
Or that there's a Hogwarts in Orlando, Florida
Right.
that you can go and walk in.
Yeah. It's so cool.
I just can't believe reading that like nobody would be interested in this story.
Well, somebody was.
Yep.
True.
Things happen for a specific reason. Maybe if it went through those publishers, it wouldn't have been what it had been. Or,
Right.
You
Yeah.
know.
Yep, everything happens for a
I
reason.
agree.
Mm-hmm.
Is that all for that?
Yeah.
Cool. I have a little weekly profit update. I got an email today telling me that my Harry Potter the Wand collection is set to be delivered on November 14th. One of the newer
Fantastic
books coming
Beasts
out.
Illustrated is set to come out November 7th. I
Yeah,
got an email today.
mine shipped today.
Yeah, so did mine.
Did I not order that?
Jeez.
I don't know, didn't you?
It's
I
the
thought I
illustrated
did.
copy of the.
Anyways, I thought
Things.
that was cool because that's
exciting.
my anniversary. Okay, I gotta check my Amazon
how sad
to see
is
if I
that?
ordered it.
Jimmy
Oh.
Fallon's mother died.
Oh, that's sad.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, Jimmy.
I like Jimmy Fallon.
I like Jimmy
Me too.
Fallon.
He just got real sad.
Yeah.
We'll get Pip back up. Woo, 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 woo.
I'll bring us into the recap.
Do it.
Pep us back up.
Recap.
There you go, Katie.
Thank you. So last time, the students had the end of year exams. Don't worry, all 3 of them made it through.
They did.
Yep. Hagrid let slip how to get past Fluffy, Dumbledore was called away to the ministry, and Snape's going to steal the stone that same night. The trio goes through the trap door, and they make it through all the enchantments, only to find out that it isn't Snape or Voldemort waiting for Harry.
Wow.
Dot, dot, dot.
All right, it's the shock of the century. It's not Snape, but his poor stuttering Professor Quirrell.
Oh my God, that was so good.
Harry and Quirrell go back and forth with Quirrell telling him he was the one trying to kill Harry the whole year, and Snape was trying to save him. Harry learns how to get the stone out of the mirror, sort of, and Quirrell tries to get it from him, but doesn't succeed. Somehow, Harry's able to defeat Quirrell/Voldy, but he passes out from the pain in his head. He wakes up 3 days later, the Dumbledore telling him what he missed and what happened with Quirrell. We end the book with everybody passing their exams, and they all head back home for the summer, because school's out for some.
For the summer.
Also, oh, that wasn't a good one.
That was not good.
3 days. He's out for 3 days.
Oh man.
Didn't catch that.
So good. My eye is so itchy. Moving on.
Let's learn about what happened.
I said to start this out, oh, hello, Quirrell, you tool.
Yep.
Sneaky, sneaky, sneaky. And he's not twitchy.
Nope.
Actor of the century, friends. Way to go.
I have a question about that, though.
You do you, boo.
He taught at Hogwarts before he, knew Voldemort.
They said he changed after he came
back from the forest.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right. I knew that.
They were like, he saw vampires, so that's why he's wearing the garlic and stuff. They said it like this.
That makes sense.
Yeah, you're welcome. So Harry's shocked to find that Quirrell is in the final room. He's so flabbergasted. He just continues to blurt out questions. So Harry reveals that he thought that it would be Snape. And Quirrell says, quote, he does seem the type. So is it common knowledge for everyone that, at least as a teacher, that Snape was a former Death Eater?
That's a really good question because
I think so, because people didn't really hide that they were Death Eaters during the First War, I don't think. I mean, if you think back to it, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
it's okay. I'll continue. Go ahead.
I was just going to say that, Lily even knew that he was the Death Eater at Hogwarts.
You're right.
That's what I was going to kind of build off of because Dumbledore, obviously, he knows. But at Hogwarts, teachers aren't dumb. Students are talking about all these things. And Lily knew that they were forming this little Death Eater thing. And I mean, that could have spread to a teacher. So at the very least, the teachers who were there back then who had taught him might know.
So do you think they hold a prejudice
Against
I
Snape?
probably would, to be honest.
I don't know. I mean, they probably trust Dumbledore, though.
I think it would still be difficult. I mean, think about how McGonagall says, for all those years, he trusts Hagrid, blah, 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 but she still doesn't.
That's true. That's true.
But honestly, he doesn't really give you a reason to.
Who's Snape?
If you think about how he behaves, taking aside all his mission and whatnot, he's just not nice.
No.
Bitter.
Sorry if you're a Snape person, but you can't deny that he's mean
He's
to
just
children.
not nice, especially in this book.
Yeah.
And I get that he's been through stuff. Yeah, I get it. But a lot of other people, think about what all Dumbledore went through.
Yeah, honestly.
So, moving on. That's a whole other conversation. That's for a Felix Files Snape episode. Yeah. All right. So, Quirrell also says that it was useful that Snape had been swooping around like an overgrown bat. So,
Accurate description.
kind of, I know, for real. And we've seen that with Sarah. She reenacted that.
I like to pretend I'm certain professors like Snape or
But if you think
Hagrid.
about it, it totally took the attention off of Quirrell and put it all onto Snape.
Yeah.
I point out that the stutter was an act. And Harry continues to blurt out all these thoughts at Quirrell because he's so shocked. And Quirrell tells Harry that he tried to kill him and Snape tried to save him at the Quidditch match.
No, dear boy. I tried to kill you.
Sheesh. And then Snape actually wanted to ref the next match so that he could keep Harry safe. And Quirrell said he couldn't have done anything anyways because Dumbledore was there, thus proving what Hermione said.
Hermione.
That nobody could hurt Harry while Dumbledore was around.
As long as
Not while-
Dumbledore's around, we'll all be safe.
Not while I'm around. Shout out to Sweeney Todd.
As long as
Such a
Dumbledore's
good
around, you can't be touched.
You can't be touched. So, Quirrell also describes Snape as being unpopular. So, I was wondering, is it Death Eater stuff or just because he's always so jolly?
I think he's
Probably
set
a
up
Yeah.
combination of both, I would
he's made
think.
a horrible reputation for
He
himself.
probably doesn't want to talk to other people because
Like, does he have any friends?
No, because Lily died. And
I know Dumbledore's not really like a
Probably
friend per se.
Filch.
okay,
Lovely company.
I don't
Would you
think
really
so.
call that a friend? Because he kind of orders him around.
But they have the same ideals occasionally.
Occasionally. I like the way you said occasionally. All right.
I don't think he has any friends. And I think that he is kicking himself because the only person he ever loved is dead, and he was mean to her.
He was mean to her.
Voldemort is his friend.
Okay, I would disagree. Voldemort has no friends.
That's true too.
Nagini.
Well,
He's not a friend.
that's an animal.
Bellatrix.
Yeah.
All right.
Shout out to Delphi.
I can't do that this episode. All right, moving on. So Quirrell snaps his fingers and ropes are wrapped around Harry. So I want to know about wandless magic. And so I couldn't really find a whole lot. I found some on the lexicon, and basically it was just talking about like non-Western wizarding cultures that don't use wands, such as like the African school. I don't know how to say that. You god do. I don't know how to say it. I'm
You don't
sorry.
have it written in here, so I can't attempt.
Yeah, I'm like trying to look on the
Yeah, sorry guys. So where they only use hand gestures. Ugadu?
I think that's not
Could be. They only use hand gestures, and they've perfected the art of like being an animagus with no wands. And
That's
that's
pretty crazy.
that's from Pottermore. But like, I don't know.
How powerful do you think
interesting.
you have to be able to
But,
do
like,
wandless magic?
I don't know.
Because like Harry does wandless magic. If you think about like when he blew up Aunt Marge.
Yeah, but that's him. I don't think that's him. I mean, clear. Yeah, it's wandless magic,
But
he
it's
didn't
accidental.
intend- Yes.
Yeah, you're right. So I don't know. It's just really interesting.
Whenever we were talking about this chapter, did one of you mention that Hermione does it at one point?
I think she does. I don't know if it's in this book, but
I don't know.
It's definitely not in this book if she does it.
wandless magic. Wandless.
I always go back to like
Who's- I
nonverbal
feel
magic, and it's not the same
Yeah,
thing.
it's not the same thing. That's
Yeah,
probably
we
what
were-
we were thinking, maybe.
Could be, but like, yeah, wandless. I just thought it was interesting because, like, we know he's
it's
pretty.
difficult.
We know he's
I mean-
like powerful.
Quirrell.
Yeah.
So it's difficult, anyways. Like when they're learning to do, what is it called when they
Nonverbal.
nonverbal? So like they struggle with that because there's a whole class like they have days dedicated to learning how to
Well,
do that.
because
And they actually, the professors in all of the classes make them practice nonverbal
Yeah.
spells. Like
Yeah.
it goes all the way from defense to charms to transfiguration.
Yeah.
7th year or 6th years are like expected to basically only use not wandless. We're gonna keep getting these confused.
Yeah,
Nonverbal
nonverbal.
magic.
So I mean, you have to be more powerful than that to do
Wandless.
wandless magic.
Yeah.
agree.
It's
So I just wanted
craziness.
to know more because, you know, I just find it interesting that he doesn't have a wand on him.
Yeah.
Because how are you doing all that stuff? Wandless?
Maybe he does have it on him. He just didn't feel like taking it out at that point.
But I still think he could, even if he didn't have his wand on him, he'd still be able to do wandless magic. If you could do
Probably.
it, it might come easier to you if you have your wand on you
Maybe.
than it would if you did.
I just find it hard to believe that he would never not have a wand on him going down there.
Yeah.
So he probably was on him somewhere.
just easier to snap your fingers and get some ropes.
I guess so.
Instead of saying, Incarcerus. Right?
Yep.
You could just be like, snappity snap, snap, snap. Y'all roped up.
Y'all roped up. So, yeah. I would love to learn a little bit more about wandless magic, though.
I agree.
And we discover
Joe.
that... Oh, yep, dear
Joe.
Dear
Joe.
Teach us about wandless
Teach
magic.
us
Teach us your
something,
way.
please. We
The wandless magic.
Okay. Are you done?
Yes.
All right. We discover that Quirrell let the troll in and that he has a special gift with trolls.
What kind of a gross person?
So
do you have
I
to be?
wrote, okay, creep. It's just a little weird that you have like a special gift with trolls.
Guys, J.K. Rowling is just retweeting stuff right now. Should I tweet her? She's like on Twitter.
Okay.
Yeah, Twitter.
tweet
I'm
her.
going to ask her. Teach us about wandless magic,
But-
Joe.
Let's go back to him being a creep. 'Cause
Yeah, it's a little
what
weird.
kind of a person do you have to be?
It's a special
To, like,
kind of
ugh.
person.
It's a Quirrell kind of person. Mm-hmm. And then this is something that's been sticking with me. Quirrell states that the three-headed dog didn't bite off Snape's leg properly. So it
Yeah.
almost makes it sound like he was like commanding Fluffy or at least hoping for a certain result. But like the way I read that when I reread it, I was like, wait a minute.
you're right.
That kind of sounds funny. But I don't think he was I mean, as much as that would be interesting, I don't think he was commanding Fluffy.
Yeah.
But I'm just
But it
thinking,
does sound weird.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's just hoping for that end result. And then
Oh yeah, that's an interesting way to read.
read it.
It says, not only did my troll fail to beat you to death, that three-headed dog didn't even manage to bite Snape's leg off properly.
See, because he's commanding the troll. It makes it sound like he's also commanding Fluffy, but he's not, right?
I don't think so.
Although
Because he was trying to like figure out how to get past him or whatever with the
Yeah.
confrontation in the forest.
Yeah.
You know, it's just a thought.
no, I like and
It's just
I was gonna be like, he did. What did he teach? Defense against the dark arts. I don't know. He might have a special gift with like creatures, I should say, in general.
Well, if you think about it, like Lupin, his specialty with defense was the creatures.
Yeah,
So maybe that's just something that,
comes easier to Quirrell.
yeah.
This might say, is he dead? Does he
Quirrell?
die?
Quirrell?
Yeah,
He
Sarah.
turns into dust.
Sarah.
that's
In the
you read
movie.
Harry Potter.
No, but I don't. Does he say that he's dead?
I think it's implied.
I think it's implied
That's what
as
I'm
well.
asking. If he flat out was like,
Yeah, it's
Nah.
implied because
Croby dead.
well, we'll get to it, but we'll get to it. Let's save that
Can
conversation.
I look at that copy really quick, or do you need it right now?
Can I give it to you in like 1 second?
Sure.
Okay. So I'm just going to finish this up. Sarah brought up a comparison between Quirrell and Malfoy later on. Quirrell uses beasts or creatures to do his dirty work, much like Malfoy uses other means to try and attain his ends, like with the necklace and
Yeah.
the wine. So, nice job, Sarah Bear.
Sometimes I can, do things.
Sometimes. All right.
What are you looking up?
Yeah, what are you
I want
looking
to
at?
see. I can't remember
It's your
if
turn to
it
speak.
says that he, like. No, it doesn't. It just says he felt Quirrell's arm wrenched from his grasp, knew all was lost, and fell into blackness down.
Yeah.
Well, and then Dumbledore said he pulled Quirrell off of him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he wasn't dead when he pulled Quirrell off of him, but what if Dumbledore was like, pew pew, Avada Kedavra, see ya, pew pew, pew pew pew.
Well, maybe because we've talked about the fact that with animals, they weren't going to live long with Voldemort living inside of
Maybe
him.
Voldemort.
But
kind
now
of
I have
killed
questions.
Quirrell for not obtaining what he needed
Yeah.
him to.
But here's the thing: I know we're so not to that part yet, but like, if Dumbledore is pulling Quirrell off, is Voldemort still there? He bounced.
I think so.
Don't you think when he bounced, Quirrell would have died? But
That's what I'm saying.
But if he left, Quirrell's on top of him. Quirrell's in pain too. So do you think he like left and then Quirrell's not in pain anymore, and that's why he's still like on top of Harry trying to choke him out?
Maybe.
I have
I
hand
think-
motions going on.
I think Quirrell would be in
understand.
pain whether Voldemort was attached to him or not, because even Quirrell can understand something that pure, because he's so tarnished by.
Yeah, but isn't the only
Voldemort.
reason why he can't touch him is because Voldemort's inside him and Voldemort can't? It's Voldemort
Maybe,
who's the protectionist.
No, it was. I don't think that it has to do with
You think it's anybody trying to hurt Harry?
No, I think it's specifically Voldemort, but I don't think it has to do with the Horcrux within him. I think that it is just because Lily's sacrifice was strictly to protect Harry from Voldemort. So as long as that protection is there, it's all about the protection, not anything about the Horcrux.
No, I'm not talking about the Horcrux. Did I say Horcrux?
Yeah.
No? Yes?
I'm saying no. I don't know.
I don't
Somebody
know. I wasn't
said,
listening.
or maybe it was you. Somebody said something about.
No, I'm just saying
Horcrux.
because Quirrell is a temporary Horcrux.
Yeah.
Lily's protection
Oh, maybe
would
that's what
only
you meant by Horcrux.
yeah, would only affect Quirrell because Voldemort was there. Otherwise, Quirrell would be able to
Right.
touch him because he touched him in in Diagon Alley.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, come on.
I just misunderstood your use of Horcrux. I
That's
thought you
okay.
were talking about the Horcrux within Harry,
No.
not Quirrell almost acting as one because
He's
gotcha.
temporary.
Do you want me to tell you?
But I
what
just
it
wanna
says about
know.
Voldemort?
I want to know. We're like so jumping the gun with this chapter.
Maybe let's wait until we
Okay.
get to that.
Do you want to
Remind
wait?
me. I don't
Yeah.
care.
Okay, I'll try and remind you, although my brain is mush.
So, Harry thinks in his mind while he is bound by these ropes that Quirrell snapped at him. What I want more than anything else in the world at the moment is to find the stone before Quirrell does. So if I look in the mirror, I should see myself finding it, which means I'll see where it's hidden. But how can I look without Quirrell realizing what I'm up to? He figures out the secret to the mirror, kind of, for the most part. I mean, not exactly, but he understands what the mirror is. So that's kind of why that thought comes into his mind.
It's pretty smart.
Yeah, and I don't think had Harry not gone down there, I don't think Quirrell would have ever been able to get it. He
No,
would have just been
because-
staring at the mirror.
Because he wants to use it for Voldemort. And you
Right.
can't get it if you want to use it.
So this makes me think, did them going down there really do anything?
Oh, I see.
But I don't know. You can hear another voice say to use the boy. So Quirrell makes Harry look in the mirror, and Harry says to himself that he must lie about what he sees no matter what. But he sees his reflection and then watches himself wink and put the stone in his pocket, and then suddenly he feels it there. Now, what I think is if Harry hadn't looked in the mirror, would that have been better? I mean, the stone never would have appeared anywhere had Harry not looked in the mirror, even though that's what Harry wanted. He was like, oh, I want to go look in the mirror and see where it is. Well, by him looking there, it suddenly appeared. So now it's at a risk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Never thought of that before.
No.
yeah, I don't know. So suddenly, would Quirrell have had ever been able to get it? I don't think so. So
Definitely
Voldemort
not.
was correct in making Harry look. You know, that was his only chance. Quirrell and the other voice, Voldemort, as we know now, knew that Harry lied about what he saw in the mirror, which is him shaking hands with Dumbledore because he won the House Cup for Gryffindor. And then I was going to read Voldemort's speech.
Do you think that? Am I trying to get out of here? Like, Voldemort knew how the mirror worked, and he knew Harry was pure of heart.
I think he may have.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
we don't know when the mirror came.
Because
to the school.
Quirrell had no clue.
Could Voldemort have come across the mirror in his time at Hogwarts? I mean, he did some
He did
exploring. We
think-
know that.
Yeah, I mean, he thought that he knew more secrets about the castle than anyone. He didn't think that anybody else would have ever discovered the Room of Requirement. That's why
That's
he
true.
thought that the diadem was so safe in there. Because I'm sure when he found that, maybe he was the first person to find it. So when he put it in there, that's all that was in there. Otherwise, why would he have thought that it would be so safe, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but
His arrogance, man,
I
leads to his
know.
downfall.
Yeah, definitely.
if that was the only thing, then it'd be buried under all that other crap that's in there. You know what I mean? Like when you see it, it's the
It could
room
have
of
just
like
been
lost
like
stuff.
shifted. I don't know. Maybe people saw it and thought it was pretty, so they kept moving it around. I don't know. I have no idea.
Thoughts.
Dear Joe.
So Voldemort's little speech after this, you know, Quirrell reveals this face on the back of his head.
Ugh.
It says, It was the most terrible face Harry had ever seen. It was chalk white with glaring red eyes and slits for nostrils like a snake. So even from the very beginning, he is compared to a serpent, which I think is interesting. Yeah, important. So he says, Harry Potter, see what I have become, mere shadow and vapor, and I have form only when I can share another's body. But there have always been those willing to let me into their hearts and minds. Unicorn blood has strengthened me these past weeks. You saw faithful Quirrell drinking it for me in the forest, and once I have the elixir of life, I will be able to create a body of my own. Now, why don't you give me that stone in your pocket? Don't be a fool. Better save your own life and join me, or you'll meet the same end as your parents. They died begging me for mercy. And Harry shouts, liar.
You liar! How did he know it was in his pocket?
Because he's Voldemort.
I bet
man.
you just because he knew how it worked.
Is he still okay with legilimens?
He
Even though
really
he's a vapor?
he liked playing what's in Hagrid's pocket, so he wanted to play that with Harry.
Oh my gosh.
He also then continues to say, how touching. I always value bravery. Yes, boy, your parents were brave. I killed your father first, and he put up a courageous fight. But your mother needn't have died. She was trying to protect you. Now give me the stone unless you want her to have died in vain.
I think he's
His manipulating is coming out.
right.
Oh, yeah.
Because James had no chance to
Yeah.
fight. So
Yeah,
he's just kind of feeding him a story.
I just pulled hair out of my head.
Well, don't do that anymore.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Ugh.
Sad.
It's sad. So yeah, Harry, he says, I don't think so, pretty much. He
Never!
So he refuses to give up the stone. That's our brave Harry. And Voldemort orders Quirrell to seize him. And they have, I called it the Harry and Quirrell tussle. So Quirrell grabs onto him and he cannot stand to touch him. He immediately howls in agony. You know, his hands are raw and red and burned and shiny, and they blister later on. But whenever they touch, Harry's scar hurts so bad it feels like his head's going to split into two. Which I can't even. Every time I feel like Harry feels that pain a lot, and every
The
time I
worst
read
headache
it,
ever.
yeah, it's terrible. So Harry catches on that Quirrell can't stand it. He grabs his face and his arm, and Voldemort's yelling to kill him, kill him. And the pain in Harry's head is way too much. The last thing he remembers is someone wrenching his arm or his hand off of Quirrell's arm, and he passes out.
Boom.
Boom.
Whoa.
I feel like that happens
I mean,
a lot to
Voldemort
Harry.
should have known that Quirrell couldn't have killed him anyway. Right?
Whoa.
I don't know. Voldemort's pretty, what did we say? Arrogant?
Yeah, but I mean,
things are going to go the way he plans, and
the prophecy, though.
The prophecy.
But he doesn't know the full prophecy.
true.
All right. Well, so Harry passed out. And now he wakes up.
That's it. See ya.
Wouldn't that be funny? That's where the book ends. What happened? We don't know. So Harry wakes up to what he thinks at first is a golden snitch floating in front of him, but it's actually Dumbledore's glasses he sees. Golden.
Thank you.
So Harry freaks out about the stone, and he wants to know, like, what happened to it, what happened to Quirrell, what happened down there, everything. And Dumbledore's like, slow your roll, because there's some things we got to talk about. And he's like, first of all, Quirrell doesn't have the stone. And then he's like, look at all of this stuff that your friends have sent you. Trying to, like, essentially get him off topic. And I think it's funny because he's got, like, they sent him goodies, candy, sweets, all that stuff. And the twins tried to send him a toilet seat, which is like a throwback to the beginning of the book when they said something to their brother about that.
Blowing up.
Yeah, blown up toilets or whatever. And I believe Madame Pomfrey was like, nah, bros, you're not doing that. Like,
She said it wouldn't be sanitary.
yeah, it's true. Especially, God only knows where they got it from, you know what I mean? Like, they probably got it from the gross toilet.
I hope it was Myrtle's.
That's where I was thinking it would be from. So then Harry learns that he's been out for 3 days, and he keeps bringing this stone up. So Dumbledore tells him that he arrived just in time to save Harry and pull Quirrell off of him, and the stone has been destroyed. So then Harry asks about Nicholas Flamel, because now that means he's going to essentially die. So he has enough elixir left to set his affairs in order for himself and his wife before they die. So my question is, how much elixir, like, do you have to drink it every day, like, I wonder, or...
I also wonder how much he had to have saved up, because I'm sure he didn't have, I mean, we know he didn't have the stone in his possession already for a while.
An entire year, probably more than.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe
Dear
it's
Joe.
not every day, because that
Yeah.
would be a lot.
But maybe he had vats of it. He's been alive for a long time. He probably had a lot of money.
But people might want to go like after him though.
It's true. I'm trying to think of what else I wrote over here. And so Dumbledore was like, don't worry about, yes, they'll die. And he says, and this is a quote that a lot of people actually get tattooed on their body, because he says, death is but the next great adventure. And I like that. Because he's like, it's really like going to bed after a very, very long day. Because, like, I don't know. I wouldn't want to live forever. Like, even if, like, at least he's got his, like, little wife with him.
665 years is a long time.
It's a long time.
Yeah.
Like, think of how much the world has changed in that time. And it's too much for me to bear.
Would they have had to have moved around a lot
Probably.
so muggles wouldn't suspect?
Yeah.
or maybe they were in, like, a
probably.
wizarding community. I don't know. Well,
Yeah,
even
that's
wizards
true.
die, though.
Yeah.
They don't live forever.
Well, yeah, but I'm sure that people knew who Nicholas Flamel was.
Yeah. Yeah. Or maybe they wanted to move around, too, because they didn't want people to, like, come after them for their elixir
True.
of life. And so then Harry starts asking about Voldemort, but he struggles to say his name. And so then we hear Dumbledore's like, no, you're calling by his name. And he says this, and I always think of Hermione saying this, as fear of a name increases fear of the thing itself. And so then he asks if Voldemort is gone, and Dumbledore says, no, he cannot be killed. It seems to me that Dumbledore knew Harry would have to die in order to kill Voldemort, because he says this, essentially. And he also said, so going back to earlier in the podcast, we were talking about if Voldemort left Quirrell's body. And so this is what it says. He says, he cannot be killed. He left Quirrell to die. He shows just as little mercy to his followers as his enemies. And then I also said that Hagrid is right. Because at the beginning, he's like, you know, Coswalps, in my opinion. Like,
Yeah.
he thinks he's still out there and everything.
So
Yeah, we do learn.
do you think that this is a sick thought? Do you think that after Voldemort left Quirrell and Dumbledore's there because he pulls Quirrell off, do you think Dumbledore's just like watching Quirrell die?
He probably doesn't really have any way to save him, though.
I bet you he left him. He probably picked Harry up and was like, all right, bye.
I just think that, like, Quirrell would have died from such a dark type of magic that there's nothing really that Dumbledore could have done anyway.
Well, and I bet you that, like, the whole blistering thing didn't help either. Like, I think all of that, like, he's going to die shortly, like, or he's dead by the time that Voldemort leads him. Yeah.
Sad.
Maybe.
But not really, because he kind of brought that on himself.
Yeah.
I wonder if Quirrell died first and then Voldemort had to leave because there was nothing for him to, like, be a part of.
But I just wonder how that
Oh,
plays
yeah.
out with Dumbledore being there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like, what does that
I bet you
look
Voldemort
like?
was gone by the time that Dumbledore got down. Because, I mean, we can't say for sure because it doesn't really explain in the book, but at least in the movies you see, like...
A vapory Voldemort.
yeah, because you
Right.
see
Yeah, but
Quirrell get turned to dust, and then he's floating away.
Yeah, I just wonder how that like really looks. How does he get out of the school? Like,
Yeah, it's an interesting
I
thought.
wanna know.
Because they did say, where does Valdi go? I'm like, we really don't see... you don't really see him.
Probably-
You don't see this Voldemort return till
Goblet of
4.
Fire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's when he gets his baby body
Yeah.
and then a big boy body.
Yeah, because it's the Tom Riddle in the diary that you see, and then the third one you
He's
don't see
not
Voldy.
there. Yeah,
Baldy ain't in there.
because oh jeez, there's just so many questions that are not answered.
Well, because even it says, so then it goes on to say, nevertheless, Harry, while you may only have delayed his return to power, it will merely take someone else who is prepared to fight what seems a losing battle next time. And if he is delayed again and again, why, he may never return to power. And then I was thinking, like, if this happened, like, and Harry died a natural death, like, would that have happened, or would they, like, how does that work?
I don't think Harry could have died a natural death.
So, like, would he have lived forever if Voldemort never
Well,
came back
he
to
was
power?
tied to Voldemort.
Interesting thoughts. And then Harry asks Dumbledore for the truth, and I like Dumbledore's response, and it says, "The truth, it is a beautiful and terrible thing, and should therefore be treated with great caution. However, I shall answer your questions unless I have a very good reason not to, in which case I beg you'll forgive me. I shall not, of course, lie."
This is this most honest conversation he's had with him, like,
Probably ever.
because he does tell him that he's not going to tell him everything, but he'll tell him some things.
Yeah.
But in 5, he's like, Harry, I'm going to tell you everything. And it's like, BS, you don't tell him everything.
Right.
Because there's so many, like, after he dies, like, there's so many unleft questions, and then Harry's grappling with, like, reading that book about Dumbledore, and he's like, I don't even know him. Like, where he thought they were so close,
The
and then he's
Life
like,
and
oh,
Lies.
shoot, like,
Which I wish was a book
yeah.
that we could read.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
It's mapped out for you. She's already got chapters written. Let's go, Joe. Come on.
Yes. And so Harry asks why Voldemort said he only killed my mother because she tried to stop him from killing me. But why would he want to kill me in the first place? Then he's like, I'm not telling you. But then, like, we also find out that, like, the reason why Voldemort said he only killed his mother, because Snape asked him to spare her. And I think he was like, you know what, Snape, I'll do you this one favor, but, like, at the same time, if she gets in my way, she's gonna die.
Right.
Which is what happened.
How many chances did he give her? Was it 3?
It might have been.
Ooh.
Possible.
We do have the book over
Possible ding.
here.
That's in Deathly Hallows, isn't it?
Yes,
Correct.
ma'am.
Correct. So Megan's going to look that up for sure. And so Dumbledore won't tell him that reason why. So Harry won't find this out till he's 17, right? He doesn't find out till he gets Snape's memories. Mm-hmm. He also asks why Quirrell couldn't touch Harry, and then Dumbledore answers that because of his mother's love and how she sacrificed herself for him, and that love protects him. He says it's in your very skin, and then we also kind of find out later it's also in his blood. We learn that, yes.
It's also really cute. I think that's the moment where it says Dumbledore chose to look out the window at that moment so Harry could dry his eyes on his bed sheet.
Yeah.
I was like, oh,
I like how he gives him
poor
that
Harry.
moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just sad.
It is really sad.
All right. He also asked,
His memories.
yes.
Oh. Or is it in 3 when he relives stuff with the Dementors?
Let me think of where. So what
You
are
can
we
also
talking
Google
about?
it. There's the internets.
Because I
Oh,
don't think it's in here because it
Oh,
says
you know what? It might not be.
they jump from him asking Dumbledore to keep her safe, and then he says, I thought you were going to keep her safe. She and James put their faith in the wrong person, rather like you, Severus.
Yeah.
Weren't you hoping that Lord Voldemort would spare her?
Yes.
Tiffany's Googling it.
Yeah. So he also asks why Quirrell couldn't. Oh, we got that because of love. Blah blah blah. Clearly, I can't read like every episode. We learned that Dumbledore is the one that gave Harry his father's invisibility cloak. He also asks why Snape hates him, or he asks like, so Snape hates me because he hated my dad. Like, isn't that right? And then while Dumbledore doesn't deny it, he also tells Harry that his father saved Snape's life, and that could be why Snape has tried to save Harry because he didn't want to owe anything to James. And I also wrote in my notes, but he also like loves Lily, so like that could be part of it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, interesting things to think about. So finally, he asks how he got the stone out of the mirror, and we learn it's because only a person who wanted the stone, wanted it but didn't want to use it, was able to get it. And then Dumbledore leaves, but not before trying one Bertie Bott's every flavored bean. And he says a quote that I say a lot. Alas, earwax.
I can't find it right away.
So it's interesting. You learn a lot about,
I think it's in 3 though.
Harry's life. So it's interesting to even think about like how much now reading all of the books did he know? Like, and we discussed this even in the chapter or the episode before this.
I also wonder like how much Dumbledore learned from just like this experience.
Yeah. And like we said, we kind of think he was doing like a trial, like of how can Harry handle himself.
Which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
He's 11 years old.
When you
Yeah,
have
but
the-
if you think about it, like, good thing he started now, because I don't know if Dumbledore really thought that it would necessarily happen as quickly as it did.
do you think he was
Harry
just like,
having to fight him at 17?
yeah. But then I think about like, okay, how else is he training him up? And then I think about 2. That wasn't Dumbledore's plan, obviously.
Yeah,
that was
no, that
was
wasn't.
Malfoy Senior.
Yeah.
3, he does a little bit with the whole
Time-
saving Buckbeak
time
and
turner.
time and
This is random and talking about book 2. Do you think that Voldemort said to Lucius and was like, bro, like if anything happens to me,
we know the answer to this. I
Do
can
we?
answer this.
what is he? Does he?
He gives him the diary and tells him the plan that he wants to do, but he wants to say when to do it. He then disappears, never gets a chance to tell Lucius when to do it, and then Lucius just decides to do it when he wants.
And when do we
Obviously
learn that?
not knowing that this is a Horcrux. I believe in 7.
Okay.
I
Clearly,
ca- or
did-
it was 6 or 7. I can't remember, but
Is he mad at Lucius?
yes, he's very mad
Yeah.
at Lucius when he comes back and finds out that his one Horcrux got destroyed. Because obviously Lucius didn't know how valuable really that item was. He just thought that it was this diary that somehow would open the Chamber of Secrets, but he didn't know what that meant. And didn't know that.
I think had he known it was a Horcrux, he would have
Oh yeah,
treated it a little differently.
yeah, definitely.
Okay. I don't know.
But he does know, like, Lucius does know that this book will somehow open the Chamber of Secrets, and Voldemort gave it to me to have that happen eventually.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Voldemort's supposed to tell him when to do it.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's also a podcast for another day.
Yep.
A sooner day than 5 years.
Yeah. I don't know. Even just reading this chapter kind of makes me not like Dumbledore that much. Like,
It's hard
because then
it's hard to wrap your mind around
like
it.
you see
I get
later
it.
on, because like doesn't Snape? Isn't he like you're just using him? He's
He's
pawn.
raising him to like a pig for slaughter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're like, come on, Dumbledore. Like that's sad. Like he's a lot of sad.
But
life.
if you think like had he given him all this information at first, things wouldn't have played out the way that they would have.
Yeah,
like you,
Harry
Yeah.
wouldn't have been the same person that he was.
He wouldn't
in
have.
7.
I know, but
can you imagine? I mean, you just have to think like
think of how much therapy this kid's gonna need when he's like grown.
all that and like
Well, do you know how Harry is in Cursed Child?
I didn't finish
kind of a
reading it,
jerk.
but also he needs therapy.
yeah. But,
There. Sad.
okay, let's get back to this. So Harry ends up going down to the feast alone after Madame Pomfrey kept fussing about him, just making sure that he was okay. So when he goes in, the Great Hall is decked out in Slytherin colors for winning the House Cup for the 7th year in a row. But sorry to break up that magical number, Slytherin. I'm looking at you. Wah, wah.
Sorry. We still should have won.
False. So there was
No,
a
actually, I would argue that Slytherin may have been in first, but Gryffindor should have won by a lot more points because McGonagall decided to take 150 points from them for stupid reasons.
okay. Still hung up. She's never gonna get over it.
No.
She says it like she's a Gryffindor.
I know.
Well,
I'm
I
not
think-
even that. I don't even have that big of a beef with it.
I could
It
care
upsets
less.
me.
I think she did it out of principle. Like, have you ever had like your parent be so mad at you? They're like,
Well, yeah.
"Oh, you're talking back to me. So not only are you grounded for a week, you're grounded for a whole damn month. Like, you're never talking to any of these people again." That would be like, you know what I mean?
I get you. So there's a great hush when Harry enters the room, and that's not the last time that's going to happen to him. And people were all standing up, and they were trying to get a good look at him. Of course, pretty much always doing that. So Dumbledore stands to give his speech of, quote, an old man's wheezing waffle before they eat. And so he's telling the house points. So Gryffindor is in 4th with 312 points. Hufflepuff has 352. Ravenclaw, 426. And Slytherin, 472. But recent events change everything. And he says this in such a way that I'm like, oh man, he was like
Hold on.
pumped. What?
150 points. Does that mean that they would have still been in second?
They got
She's talking about what McGonagall took away. She can't get over
I
it.
think so.
412 plus 50 is 462. So they still would have just been in second place.
Okay.
Lame.
So Dumbledore's like, yes, well done, Slytherin. And I feel like he couldn't wait to deal the heavy blow.
Is he
hold my
biased, you think?
butterbeer.
What?
Is he biased towards Gryffindor? What house
think-
was he in? He's probably Gryffindor.
Gryffindor. Who?
I don't
Dumbledore.
think
Dumbledore.
I think that Dumbledore probably does a good job at not having bias.
He gave them 100 million points so they could win.
100
every year.
million points.
He was like,
But these points were well deserved.
I'm not saying they weren't, but he's like, dude, Harry Potter's here. Y'all are gonna win a year.
Maybe he had to think
Gryffindor,
like
Gryffindor,
Harry
Gryffindor.
needs something happy in his life.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Poor Harry.
So the points are dealt as such. Ron, for the best game of chess, 50 points.
That Hogwarts has seen these many years.
And Percy can't wait to brag about his brother and McGonagall's chess set. So, does this mean that the whole school knows about all the protections?
I think
think
so.
it-
at
Which
this
is
point.
kind of still insane. Why are you
Yeah.
giving up all your secrets, man? It's
Pretty
crazy
much.
to me. Hermione, for the cool use of logic in the face of fire, 50 points.
So, see, another reason why they should have put that in the movie. The
Yeah,
whole scene.
the fire
Because the
thing.
reason why she gets
Yeah.
50 points is because of using logic. I mean, she doesn't really show logic in the movie at all.
True.
Well, technically, she saves them in the movie from the devil's
The
snare.
devil snare, I guess, yeah.
Boo.
Still not totally applicable, but
Yeah.
Agreed. Harry, for nerve and courage, 60 points. And then I put, why is facing Voldemort only worth 10 more points?
He really
He
didn't
can't
face
seem
him.
like that.
He
much
did
of a
face him.
favorite.
He faced more so Quirrell.
Face to face. The man with two faces.
Yeah, but who did he look at more? Quirrell or
I feel like it
Voldy?
was probably equally distributed.
I don't know,
I
man.
feel like this is a
I wonder-
stupid argument.
I wonder if Quirrell got a headache from flipping around so much.
Maybe.
Flippity flop.
just carry a
Anywho.
mirror with him.
Here, you talk.
Oh, I said read from chapter and then I didn't pull it up.
All right.
Fail.
Because I can't just say Neville 10 points.
Mm-mm.
But talking about all kinds of courage.
Courage.
You guys want to talk while I look it up?
Let's talk about.
Guys, I'm hungry.
I am
ate
also
a lot.
hungry.
Feel that?
I had an apple and some hummus,
And some pretzels.
some pretzels,
I had a cinnamon roll.
a cinnamon roll.
I do not like
Is
cinnamon
that all
rolls.
you've eaten today?
What?
I don't like
We went
them.
out to breakfast.
What
this
don't you like
morning.
about them?
I just don't like them. I've
Do you
tried
like
them a million
cinnamon?
times.
I got
Yes,
your
I love
bagel.
cinnamon. And I love baked treats, but I don't like cinnamon rolls.
Can we talk about what's your favorite breakfast cereal?
Oh, that's tough.
I feel like we're on second breakfast. Let's talk about food.
Off the top of my
S'mores.
head,
That's your favorite breakfast cereal? I've never had it.
I enjoy s'mores,
And honey bunches of oats, honey roasted.
golden grams, the occasional Lucky Charms.
My all-time favorite is Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Oh, that's good
No.
too.
What?
Hands
Leaves a
down.
waxy taste in my mouth.
It does, but it's so
You
good.
leave a waxy taste in my mouth. I love them. They're hands down. I also, and I'm not, this is going to make people really not like me. I'm not a Reese fan. I don't like chocolate and peanut butter. I
You're the
know,
worst
very
person.
un-American. I don't like peanut butter. Ugh. But I love the Reese Pieces. Like,
The
peanut butter
Reese's
puffs.
yes.
Those are good.
I don't know what it is
forgot-
about them. They're so good. I'm also not a huge cereal eater.
I really love Raisin Bran Crunch. Oh,
I've never had it. I
that's
also don't like
good.
raisins, so.
You wouldn't like it.
Do we want to go back to Harry Potter?
I'm ready.
Okay.
Okay.
Neville.
Neville.
It's a Neville. The din was deafening. Those who could add up while yelling themselves hoarse knew that Gryffindor now had 472 points, exactly the same as Slytherin. They had tied for the House Cup. If only Dumbledore had given Harry just one more point. Dumbledore raised his hand and the room gradually fell silent. There are all kinds of courage, said Dumbledore, smiling. It takes a great deal of bravery to stand up to our enemies, but just as much to stand up to our friends. I therefore award 10 points to Mr. Neville Longbottom.
Oh.
Hooray!
Gryffindor wins the House Cup.
Whoop, whoop. In your face is what I wrote in the doc.
Yep.
Not your face in particular, but all y'all's faces.
A lot of exclamation points.
Well, Ravenclaw won in my heart, so that's all that matters.
So it also says that even Ravenclaws and Hufflepuffs were celebrating the downfall of Slytherin. Sorry, Meg. Decorations changed to Gryffindor.
We're the best.
The true champions. Harry says it was the best evening of his life. And then they also find out that they make good grades on their exams. And I said, thanks, Hermione. Even Neville passed. And sadly, Goyle did not fail. Womp womp.
So
I
I
thought
guess
Katie
he
had her
can
hand
read.
raised.
No.
Oh, no? Okay. We also find out that no magic is to be done over the holidays.
Well, duh.
Well, that's sad. So I also thought this was cute. And I guess it's something that I didn't really remember. The first years leave on the boats the same way that they came.
I didn't remember that either.
I didn't either.
Neither did
I
I.
just thought that was sweet.
Cute.
On the train, they eat Bertie Bott's beans and they change back into their muggle clothes. And it takes a long...
Nightgowns?
Huh?
Nightgowns?
Nightgowns?
Like Archie from the World Cup.
Jeez, I
Oh my
can't even-
God.
Such a random character.
Shout out to characters only in one chapter in one book.
Pierce. It takes a long time at King's Cross because they go back through the gate in 2s and 3s.
Thank you.
Sorry, Katie.
Nope, you got it.
And Ron invites Harry to stay over the summer because he's such a good friend. Everyone's saying goodbye to Harry, and he is still famous.
Well, now he is because he got all those points back.
Right. Otherwise,
He's
he would
like-
have been hated.
Yeah, because McGonagall's a jerk.
But he's like, trust
Whoa.
me, not famous where I'm going.
Right. And so Ginny is trying to like take a really good look at her future husband. Harry thanks Molly for the presents, and she's so sweet.
6 months later, you can't just send Hedwig to Mrs. Weasley. Thanks for the fudge and
He's
the
an-
sweater. 6 months later.
He's an 11-year-old boy. I don't
Nope.
get to think of like...
Not acceptable.
Also, he never really like... Those are things you're taught, like, oh, you have to say thank you. He didn't get anything at home to say thank you for.
I don't want an
True
excuse.
point.
Nope.
No, that's a fair point.
Nope, it's not.
Okay, well,
I think it's rude, Harry.
don't you worry. He gives her 3 grandchildren later on, and she doesn't care anymore.
True.
And here comes Uncle Vernon, purple-faced and mustached. Petunia...
Aren't we all?
Mustached.
Mustached.
I'm not. Petunia and Dudley look terrified of him. And then I said, Petunia, you're such a stinking actress because she knows about magic and she's only putting on a show.
Yep.
Like, she is such a loser.
Ugh.
I can't stand her.
She's
you
such
suck.
a petunia.
But seriously, like, why are you acting like you're afraid of magic? You're not afraid of magic. You grew up around
She's
it with
just
your sister.
jelly.
You were enamored with it.
She's just trying to make Dudley be like, oh my gosh, magic. Like, get over yourself. Magic. Sorry. That really irked me.
Yeah, she's dumb.
She is. So Harry believes this summer will be all right because, quote, they don't know we're not allowed to use magic at home. I'm going to have a lot of fun with Dudley this summer. And thus ends Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone.
Dun, dun, dun.
Guys, how did we get here?
Well,
We read a lot of chapters.
about 42 years ago,
What?
my parents met at a Halloween party.
It's a true story.
Me and Meg met on Halloween. That's
Yeah.
funny.
I think it's been 42 years.
I don't know. But honestly, like, this has been great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's
I
been
can't believe
okay.
we're done.
I know, it's crazy.
You're acting.
Hey,
we have
hey, hey.
we have 6 more books plus extra things to go
But
through.
it's just
Yes.
crazy that like we were talking about like,
How long this is going to take.
and we just started, it feels like.
Yeah.
This
So
one's short, though.
yeah.
You know?
let's move into the last lightning bolt round for Sorcerer's Stone.
Bolt round.
Come prepared or face the consequences. That's written in the doc.
1 or 2 faces.
2.
Depends on how bad you are, how naughty you are.
Okay. I have only 2 questions.
Okay.
I said, what do you think they told Madam Hooch when they went to her about Snape reffing the match?
She's probably like, oh,
She
what?
was probably livid.
Yeah,
I
she
would-
doesn't seem the type that would like handle that well.
Like, do you think that they just said maybe it'll be safer since somebody almost got thrown with their broom last time, blah, blah, blah. You're not doing your job.
Is that all Madam Hooch does? Because she teaches...
She teaches flying.
She teaches flying.
but
Years.
you don't take flying lessons your whole year. At least we don't see that. So does she literally just show up to...
Well, if you think about it, we don't call her Professor Hooch. That just sounds
Madam
wrong.
Hooch.
It's Madam
Yeah,
Hooch.
it's Madam Hooch.
I know, but like, does she just...
So maybe she just does like
She's the
first
ref.
semester flying /
Maybe she works
Referee.
for one of the pubs and she makes Hooch because that's how she got her name.
she could work at the Hogshead. We don't know.
maybe?
I bet you she just oversees like the pitch and the schedules for like what team is gonna have the pitch when.
Yeah,
and-
true.
So, okay.
She certainly does not take care of the school brooms, though.
No.
All right. Last question. How does Dumbledore know what happened with Neville?
Well, someone must have seen him and he probably told them. That's my guess. Who found him? Or did it just wear off?
I don't know.
I don't think it would wear. Oh no, it does wear off because yeah.
Any secrets in the school spread like wildfire, so...
Yeah. Tiffany, what's
He
your
knows
theory?
Everything.
It's been 3 days.
Maybe
3 days.
Maybe there's a portrait in each of the common rooms that can go to and from the common room to Dumbledore's office.
I bet
Now-
they've seen some interesting
I was
stuff.
going to say, do you think that they've like seen Hanky Panky and then been like, yo, Dumbledore, bro?
Why is
Talk to
everybody
these-
a bro?
I don't know. You got to talk to these students. They're getting too hot and heavy up in the Gryffindor common room next to the fire.
Open
Like they're creating their own fire.
Oh my gosh.
We don't need don't
That's
need
why
babies.
you go to the room of requirement to do that.
Yeah, but what if they don't know what it is?
Not a
it
Felix
is?
file, you guys. Just wondering. That turned into a whole another thing. So what I'm thinking is maybe a Gryffindor student found Neville, got McGonagall. She helped him, and then she's just talking
Spread
to
to
Dumbledore.
Dumbledore.
Yeah.
Probably.
Okay.
That's not nearly as fun of an answer as what me and Sarah.
Well, I'm just trying to keep it PG.
Hey,
Those are my questions.
I have a question, or it's sort of like pointing something out. How do you think the teachers who put up enchantments felt that 2 12-year-olds and an 11-year-old thwarted their enchantments?
Probably pretty crappy.
Yep.
or
Oh.
really impressed.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I have a question.
Okay.
What is everyone's favorite scene in Sorcerer's Stone?
From the movie or the book?
No, the book.
When your mom called me last night. I'm just kidding.
Sarah.
Ooh, you know what I like? I liked when Hagrid came to get Harry.
Yeah.
And he gave Dudley a little pigtail.
I thought you were gonna say when he busted out the sausages.
Hey, that's great too. Shout
I
out to
wanted you to.
sausages.
Picturing Halloween in my head. And the way the Great Hall looked.
I'll say
And the pumpkin wafting.
I'm
Same
sorry.
to Christmas.
Yes.
I'll say same to the reveal of Hogwarts when they come through on the boat.
Yeah, that's good too.
Yeah.
And the feasts, all of them.
Yeah.
All the
All the
feasts.
sausage.
Yeah.
All them sausages.
Hopefully we'll have some sausage at our Halloween. No, we're not doing Halloween. We did that. What are we doing next?
Christmas.
Christmas.
This isn't Halloween. This isn't Halloween.
This is Christmas. This is Christmas. Let's see. Do I have any questions? Let me think of something to ask.
Oh, you were going to look up something in your book, and then you were like, remind me.
Oh, she read it.
was
It
that
was
the
about
Voldemort?
Voldemort and what happened to
Voldemort.
him after.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Did we decide what we think happened to Voldemort after he left?
He
what's his
left
nuts-
somehow, but like I don't know what a soul thing piece looks like.
Yeah.
Are you awake? Can we see you?
Where was he? Do we ever know where he was between now and 4?
No, but don't worry, guys. I tweeted JK. I'm sure she'll get back to me.
I'm sure
Okay.
she will. I feel like he probably would immediately have gone into the forest and taken over an animal there.
Yeah.
I have another question. You ready?
Question.
How do you think Neville's grandmother feels about him after this year? Do you think she likes him better?
Do you think she even knows?
I don't know. Like, he's the reason why Gryffindor wins.
Maybe she feels a little better about him. Still doesn't give him a wand.
No.
True.
Do you think, I literally wrote Neville Longbottom, MVP. How do you think that Snape felt having to shake McGonagall's hand after 7 long years of being a winner, and he's suddenly
It was 6.
what he is? Oh, yes, 6 long years.
Why are you just pointing it
And
at
now
my
he's a
face?
loser.
Probably
How
not
do you
good.
feel?
Not good.
Yeah, probably not good. He had to fake it, but you know,
He fakes a lot of
he
things.
fakes a lot of things.
Yeah.
Anybody else wish?
How do you feel? How do you think Harry felt about seeing his parents for the first time in a picture?
Oh man, I wrote actually in my notes. I said legit almost started crying again reading that when he gets that little gift from
I
Hagrid.
said
Oh
it's
my
probably the
God.
first pics of them he's ever seen. And
Yeah,
I literally
it
wrote,
is.
"I love Hagrid."
It
yeah,
is
like, do you
because
think Petunia has literally just destroyed all pictures of Lily?
Yeah.
I mean the first time he sees them is in the mirror, so this is
I
his
think-
first actual physical copy of something of his parents.
Vernon would have made sure of that.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, so sad.
Did
Hagrid's
anybody
so amazing.
realize that it was 312 points?
3 and 12.
Yeah. Yep.
Ooh, that's your job though. So
Yep.
Sorry. Thought you guys had my back.
What would you be excited about eating first from Harry's tray of goodies?
Chocolate frogs.
Yep.
Would you have eaten any of the Birdie Bots? Every flavor
No,
beans?
I don't think I'd be
I want a pumpkin pasty.
Were they on the table?
I don't know. They should have been.
So, like, also, what do you think would have happened had Quirrell touched Harry in class? Sounds just wrong.
I don't know.
It would have burned him.
Oh, gosh.
Do you think Harry would have gotten like detention for some
Like, why are
fire
you
trickery
burning
spell?
me?
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know.
Interesting to think. Another question. So, like, when Harry is, like, blacking out from touching Voldemort slash Quirrell, he hears Harry, like, his name being screamed, which is Dumbledore. But, like, do you think he thought it was someone else, like his mom?
Maybe.
You hear later on, he hears a woman screaming, and they're like, "No, that's not a woman screaming."
Does his mom sound like a man?
Does it say a man?
Well, it's Dumbledore.
No, I understand that, but it says Harry's head was building. He couldn't see. He could only hear Quirrell's terrible shrieks and Voldemort's yells of "Kill him! Kill him!" and other voices, maybe in Harry's own head, crying, "Harry! Harry!"
Oh, I want to say it's his mom.
What?
I would hope that is like his head, his mom. I don't want it to be Dumbledore. I don't want to, like, I can't envision Dumbledore being like, Harry, Harry!
Well, but he gets there right in time to pull Quirrell off of him.
I
Which
guess.
just sounds wrong. All right. I don't know if I have
Meg?
any other questions.
Any
None.
fan story?
To the fan story.
To the fan story.
This one is from Katie Tilby. She says, "Hey all, I love your podcast. It was my introduction to podcasts and I have fallen in love. You set a high standard. I was first introduced to Harry Potter when a friend brought the first movie over as a kid. I was hooked. I read all the books and quickly became a massive fan. I went to all the movie premieres and finished all the remaining books the day they came out. I have read and reread the series so many times I've lost count. I'm a Ravenclaw. My second highest scoring house is Slytherin.
Woo-woo.
And that's pretty much all the cool stuff about me. I love that ending. But thank you for your fans. Your
I'm
fan
sure
story.
that there's a
Thank you,
lot of
Katie.
other cool stuff about you.
Yeah.
And I'm super glad that you now like podcasts and
Yeah.
you're into them. You know, that's
Yeah.
thank
That you
you.
think we set a high standard.
Yeah, thank
We're all
you.
professionals here, so we do our best.
Are we?
We try.
I'm not even professional in my own Dale life. Dale life.
Dale
I can't even talk.
But thank you.
Yes.
Yes.
We
Thank
appreciate
you
it.
for your words.
And your ears.
Make sure that you go and join our group on Facebook to use for discussion on each episode.
Because it's super cool.
So cool.
It's really fun. I like it.
It's
I
really
do.
fun. I like it.
It's so much fun. Please join us in talking about Harry and the Potters.
Post all kinds of fun Harry Potter related stuff here. It's a great community and we love talking with everyone. So go and find us on Facebook where we're most active and like our page to get all the latest info. We are Swish and Flick Podcast on Facebook or Swish Flick Cast on Twitter, Instagram, and Tumblr. You can also find us and follow us on Patreon. By supporting us on Patreon, it only helps us to be able to provide you better content more often. So head on over to patreon.com/swishflickcast.
Do
and
it.
Support your favorite ever Potter podcast.
You know you want to be
Yeah.
a patron.
The more that you help us, the more we can give you guys fun stuff that we can do.
True.
Yes.
Because it is a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun. Most days.
So you can also follow all of us on Twitter
Twitter.
and Instagram for me, Katie, and Sarah. Tiffany only has Twitter. But our handles are Meg's Mouse Tales, TALES.
Please say it correctly.
Meg's Mouse Tales.
Big mouse mouse.
O'Malley, OHHH Malley. And,
Oh, man.
Ooh, Mally.
and Skaterade 7. And then Tiffany is at TiffSwish_flick.
Tis me.
That is her. And this is us.
Signing off for Harry Potter
Sorcerer's Stone.
and the Sorcerer's
over.
Stone. It's
What happens
over.
next?
Guys,
got
what should we do
chills.
next? Should we go to Deathly Hallows?
We're gonna do that. We're gonna do 1, 7, then we're gonna go back to 2, then we're
2,
gonna go to
6.
6, then we're going to 3.
We're really not going to do that, so I hope you don't believe what they say.
No.
No, but I will give you guys a clue for our next episode. We are not starting Chamber of Secrets just yet.
Dun, dun, dun.
We're not. But
what
don't
can we
worry,
do?
you will have content and you will enjoy it.
Yeah, it's Harry Potter.
Right.
Yes.
Who's that?
I don't know.
Me
Never
neither.
heard of him.
Never heard of.
Oh,
Pour
I
one
never
out
heard
for
of
Sorcerer's Stone.
Pour one out for Sorcerer's Stone. It is.
Pour one out for
over.
Nicholas Flamel. Let's just be honest. Where's that Lady Blythe stuff we need? Pour one out for Nicholas Flamel. Pour one out for Professor Quirrell. He's a jerk, but you know
No.
what?
No.
He's just a sucker.
He's just a son.
Oh, and no, we could pour one out for Nicholas's wife.
Yeah.
She did
What's
too.
her name?
Pernell.
Yeah, they're dead.
Okay, so
Dad.
that does it. So that concludes this book. Thank you so much for listening, and don't let the muggles get you down.
Amazing! Just my voice.
There's a major storm coming our way.
We might die, but we don't know.
We're in a basement right now, so we're pretty darn
I was gonna say,
safe.
we're in the safest place at this house.
Except this basement leaks.
Oh.
Yeah, but it didn't leak the last time it rained, so we might be okay.
The gutters might be fixed by now, KT.
It's raining. It's pouring.
The
We're
old
podcasting
man
in the basement.
is snoring. It's raining men. Hallelujah, it's a raining men.
I wish it was.
It's terrifying.